On today's episode of The Front Row, we are at the downtown studios of Lubbock Public Media in the Lubbock Cultural District, and our special guest on the program today is Erin Agee. And she publishes a magazine here in town that's very important, and she has a great history, and we want to talk to her about that. Erin, welcome to The Front Row today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So to begin with, tell us just a little bit about you and your background and being in Lubbock and deciding that you want to publish a magazine.
Okay, well, I actually came to Lubbock in 1995 as a freshman at Tech and really no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Magazine publication was not on the radar, but I graduated in 1999 with a degree in Human Development and Family Studies and went on to do some graduate work in Masters of Divinity. And I didn't finish it, but I learned in that my desire was I really wanted to be a nursing home chaplain, to record and learn the stories of our elderly population, because I felt like they had so much to offer to the younger generation that was just getting lost as they were dying off, especially the World War II stories. And so I always held that in the back of my mind, but didn't know what it was going to be until about 2013. The owner of Senior Link magazine, the previous owner, passed away, and his wife came to me just because of a relationship we had and said, "Do you know anyone that wants to buy the magazine?" And I didn't, and I waited a year, and she came back and said, "Really, it's going out of business. Do you know anyone that wants to buy the magazine?" At that point, my 3 kids were getting ready to go into elementary school. So I was going to have time on my hands. And so I said, let me just try one issue. Let me see what I can do with one issue. And if I like it, then I'll buy it. So the 16-page magazine that she handed to me, this first issue turned into a 36-page magazine. And also at that time, I found out I was pregnant with my 4th kid. And so it was like, oops. But at the same time, I really saw the potential of what I could do with the magazine. And so I bought it, and I guess that was my first issue was fall of 2014. Winter of 2014, but fall was me running it, but her owning it. And then I bought it in the winter. And it has grown from there, and it's anywhere from 72 to 132 pages of just honoring senior citizens in our community and telling their stories and honoring businesses and just people who are making an impact in our community that I feel like they have a story to tell.
Yeah. And the name of the magazine is officially?
Yes, Lubbock Senior Link magazine.
Okay. And how often is it published?
It is a quarterly magazine. And so every spring we do what we call Senior to Senior, where we have high school seniors from each of the local high schools write about a senior citizen who's made an impact in their life. Every fall we honor our veterans, and we tell as many stories as we can of our local veterans. And then my summer and winter are really a collaboration of just whatever stories come in, and they end up creating a theme, but really just a little bit of everything.
Did you have journalistic background of any kind?
No journalism. I was very green, human development and family studies, and no, I have no sales, no marketing, no journalism. But what I've learned is if you have a heart to tell the stories and hear the stories, then it kind of comes together.
Yeah. Well, so along those lines, what did you do when all of a sudden you had a magazine and you were going to publish? What did you do when it came to writing stories and formatting and then getting into marketing and publicity? What did you do?
Gosh, I feel like I'm still learning. I remember my first edition, like literally cutting out pieces of paper and like putting them on my dining room table as a puzzle, like let's lay this out, before my husband kind of caught on to, oh, you need me to develop some or do some sort of software program to help you lay this out. Right. And my graphics designer had been with the previous owner, so he was able to help with some of that. And really, it was just networking and getting to know people. One thing is I am not a journalist. I don't proclaim to be a journalist. I don't write the stories. There are some times that I write, but it's because I've been woken up in the middle of the night with the words and it just flows.
Mm-hmm.
But I really rely on my readers to also be my writers. So if you have a story that you think needs to be told, then and you call me, I'm going to say, write it. Or who in that family would write it.
Mm-hmm.
Or help me find the person that knows this person well enough to write this story.
Mm-hmm.
And those have been my writers. I don't pay them to write. I just give them the platform to write their story. And then I kind of go behind after I've gotten the story and try to find someone to advertise alongside that story.
Mm-hmm. So these really are in their own voice.
Yes.
Wow.
And a lot of people will write their own stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, it's definitely a collaboration of people wanting to share their stories, grandkids wanting to write about their grandparents, or business owners wanting to write about their favorite customers. It's a little bit of everything.
Wow. So you get everything together for an issue,
Mm-hmm.
and then you send it. I guess you send it to have printed.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and then put together and covers and all
I
those
put
kind
it
of
all
things.
together. I do all the layout where this ad goes on this page and this goes on, put it in order. I turn it over to my designer who actually does the design work.
Mm-hmm.
And then we send it to a printer. And then an 18-wheeler shows up in my driveway with 3 or 4 pallets of magazine, and I do all the distribution.
Are you serious? You do? Oh my gosh.
Luckily, I've got 2 kids now that have driver's license. So when they're not in school, they are working with me. But yeah, it's definitely a mom pop. My husband edits all the photography, and I do all the layout, and my kids and I do all the distribution.
Wow. So you don't use the mail, you actually take it to people.
Well, we distribute to about 200 locations.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on Meals on Wheels gets one. But Drug Emporium, Market Street, like the Caroline, the Raider Ranch, the libraries, and then also everybody who's like written an article or advertised or has an article about them, we deliver to them.
Gotcha.
But so there's about 200 when it's all said and done.
Right.
But it's all free and distributed everywhere.
Wow. That's an amazing story. Great. Well, what kind of feedback do you get? I'm sure a lot of people must talk to you about, reading stories of other people or seeing their own stories.
I probably hear anywhere from 5 to 10 people every quarter that will call me and say, I've read it from cover to cover. And when you walk into someone's house and you see stacks of magazines, it's like the advertising continues on forever.
Yeah.
Because really the elderly population don't trash a magazine if they know someone in it.
Oh, right.
And when
Yeah.
you live in Lubbock, Texas, and you've lived in Lubbock, Texas your entire life, 9 times out of 10, you're going to know someone in this magazine.
Wow.
So then they keep them.
But that's wonderful. What a network of
Mm-hmm.
people together and as seniors still staying together. That's great.
Right. And not only are they staying together, but I really do feel strongly that we are putting these stories on paper for the younger generation, where they might not fully appreciate it now. Years down the road, they're going to have access to these magazines and the stories of their grandparents and their grandparents' friends and World War II veterans and now Vietnam veterans and Korean War veterans who made an impact in our country and in our community, and now their stories are here living to be told even if they've passed on.
Right. And I love what you said about catching people in their stories before they pass away so that knowledge is not lost.
Right.
Yeah, that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So once you get a magazine completed and distributed, is it immediately into the next one? It's full time?
Yes and no, because right now my summer edition's getting ready to go to print in May 10th-ish. Then I'm already starting on my fall veterans in my mind. but that one is always my largest edition. And so that one takes time. Sometimes, like between fall and winter, I might get a couple weeks off. It's full time, and then I'm always thinking about it, but I have the privilege of working from home and doing other things where I might spend an hour or two a day, but I'm also doing other things. Yeah. I'm a mom of 4.
4 kids.
4 girls, and so I'm busy. I'm PTA president, and so there's always something going on in my life apart from the magazine.
Right. So if I'm a senior and I have a story and I'm interested, what do I do?
Pick up the magazine, and it's got my phone number in there, and just call me or email me, and we'll talk you through how to get it submitted and written and the word count and all the things.
Okay. All right. And then to pick up the magazine, any of the places that you mentioned where you distribute them.
Drug Emporium, Market Street, KK's Craft Mall, Super Salad, Red Zone, Mahon Library. They're pretty much scattered throughout, but my biggest one would be Drug Emporium. And let me add one thing. Just there could be a transition. The stories that we're telling up till now have always been about seniors, but we're realizing that this magazine is really for all the generations, and so we're starting to tell the stories of other younger generations. In this upcoming edition, I know we have the story of Evie Mays, and they're not senior citizens by any means. Right. And so there's a couple of different stories that are starting to come in that are for the younger generation, written about the younger generation to kind of expand the vision. I don't know what that will look like in the name, but definitely trying to reach all generations right now.
Yeah, sure. And there are lots of stories.
Absolutely.
Course. Yeah.
Never ending. If you're alive, you've got a story to tell.
That's great. And as you said, the publication is quarterly.
Quarterly,
right?
Yes.
Excellent. And summer edition is just about to come out.
It'll hit the stands June 1st.
Okay. Our special guest on the front row today has been Erin Agee. She is the publisher of Senior Link. Thank you so much for being our guest on the show today.
Thank you for having me.